Genius. It is a term we revere, often without truly understanding the weight it carries. We tend to idolize it, glorify it, viewing it as a kind of gift, a rare ability bestowed upon a chosen few. The brilliant mind, the groundbreaking creator, the visionary who reshapes entire fields. But what of the shadows that accompany this brilliance? What of the cost, the price that genius demands? These are the questions we often overlook, too caught up in the awe of creation to consider the toll it takes on the creator. To be a genius is not just to possess remarkable insight or creativity. It is to live with the knowledge of your own extraordinary potential and simultaneously your own profound isolation. It is a life marked by an insatiable desire to transcend the ordinary, to see the world not as it is, but as it could be. It is a life spent in search of the ultimate truth, a truth that can never be fully grasped. The genius is a paradox, capable of creating beauty and meaning that transcends time and space, yet perpetually haunted by an inner darkness, a restlessness that cannot be quelled. What sets genius apart is not simply the ability to create, but the relentless drive to create something truly transformative. This drive is not a choice, it is a compulsion. It gnaws at the mind, pushing it beyond its limits, urging it to go further, to reach deeper, to see further than anyone before. But in that relentless pursuit, there is little room for peace, for contentment. The mind of the genius is a storm, a maelstrom of thoughts, ideas, and visions that cannot be tamed. The world around them may be calm, but inside, the chaos rages. And it is in this chaos that their brilliance is born. Yet, this brilliance comes with a cost. The pursuit of perfection, the insatiable desire to understand, to create, to push the boundaries of what is possible, becomes all-consuming. The genius is often consumed by their own mind, unable to step away from the work that defines them. They live for their creations, and in doing so, they lose touch with everything else. The relationships that might ground them, the simple pleasures of life that others take for granted, slip away. They become isolated, not by choice, but by necessity. The world cannot keep up with their thoughts, their ideas, their visions, and so the genius finds themselves alone, living in a world of their own making. This isolation is not just physical, it is emotional and intellectual. The genius is often misunderstood, seen as eccentric, detached, or even mad. Their ideas, so far ahead of their time, cannot be fully grasped by those around them. Their thoughts, so complex, so deeply introspective, are often dismissed as folly. And in this rejection, the genius begins to question themselves. They question the very worth of their work, the value of their insights, the very thing that drives them. The desire to create, to innovate, to understand, becomes the thing that separates them from the world. The genius, in their quest for truth, becomes increasingly disconnected from the very world they seek to change. And then there is the internal struggle, the battle between brilliance and madness. The genius is constantly torn between the need to create and the need for rest, between the desire to break new ground and the longing to simply exist in peace. The mind of the genius is a battlefield where creativity and despair clash, where moments of transcendent insight are often followed by crushing self-doubt. This internal turmoil can drive the genius to the brink, pushing them to the edge of madness. For the genius is never fully satisfied. No matter how much they achieve, it is never enough. There is always more to be done, more to be discovered, more to be understood. The genius is constantly in pursuit of something that can never be fully attained. This is the dark side of genius. The relentless drive, the isolation, the self-doubt, the madness, all of it is part of the price of greatness. And yet, despite the suffering, there is something deeply beautiful in the way genius transforms pain into creation. The darkness that haunts the genius is not just a curse. It is also the source of their brilliance. It is the source of their ability to see the world differently, to create something that transcends the ordinary. The genius does not simply create for the sake of creating. They create because they must. It is not a choice, it is a compulsion. And in that compulsion, They find both the light and the darkness of their existence. But even in the face of this darkness, there is a strange kind of hope. For the genius, the act of creation is a way of confronting the abyss, a way of making sense of a world that often seems senseless. It is through their work that they find meaning, even if that meaning is fleeting. It is through their work that they connect with the world, even if that connection is tenuous. And it is through their work that they leave their mark, even if that mark is forever tainted by the shadows that accompany it. So, what is the price of genius? Is it worth it? The answer is complex, for genius is both a gift and a curse, a light and a shadow. It is the ability to create, to innovate, to transcend. But it is also the ability to be consumed by one's own mind, to live in isolation, to grapple with a never-ending search for meaning. The dark side of genius is not a separate entity. It is part of the genius itself, inseparable from the brilliance that defines it. Perhaps, in the end, we must accept that genius, in all its glory and its darkness, is a paradox. It is both the greatest gift and the greatest burden. And perhaps the greatest lesson of all is that to be a genius is not to be free from suffering, but to embrace it as part of the journey.